Hey, hey, it's not easy sleeping with a legend. You know what I'm saying? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Friday edition of I don't even know what to call it. Anyway, good morning to everybody. Nice job again by the Choo Choo, the Cha Cha, the Chi Chi, whatever his name is, and I'll put it on when we go. Thanks for being in the chat room this morning. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, for those of you listening on any shape or form, all you got to do is come to the chat room, register for the site. It's free. Come into the chat room at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and you'll get our phone number. So if you have any problems, anything, any questions with your fantasy baseball, where are you going to go? Who are you going to turn to? You turn right here and you give us a call, and we'll be happy to talk about your team. Okay? Welcome aboard, everybody, on a lovely Friday morning. Guest Estella, announce yourself the proper way. Okay, once again, Andy and I next week will be leaving on our way to Cleveland. That's right. So if you live in the proximity of New York to Cleveland, it's Route 80, and you know how to get there. If you think that's the route we're going, if you live in Pennsylvania, on the way to Cleveland, if you live in Ohio, if you live close by, give me a holler. We'll stop by. We'll say hello. We'll shake hands, we'll hug, we'll buy you a beer, wherever you want, okay? And then, of course, after Cleveland, we'll be in Chicago. We'll be there Monday the 22nd, and maybe Tuesday the 23rd, and then we're hopping over to Toledo, the great state of Toledo, with the wonderfully talented Unholy Toledo throwing the Toledo Bash. That's right. So join us then. Just get in touch with me or Unholy Toledo, and we'll give you all the details. That'll be the 27th. It's a Saturday. You don't want to miss it, okay? Yes, you're buying you a beer, Easy Kill, okay? Maybe not a beer. Maybe we'll just yeah, we're going to get a beer and 3 straws for me, you, and Andy, and maybe a 4th if you bring somebody. All right, so let's get right to it. Believe it or not, on a day with one game, there's plenty to talk about. Does that surprise you from anybody who knows me? All right, there's a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. In case you missed it, that's right, in case you missed it, the Yonder Alonso has started. Short porch is here, okay? So Yonder Alonso is now signed with the Colorado Rockies. Boy, anybody want to take a shot on Yonder Alonso? Right now he's going to be playing for the Albuquerque Isotopes, one of the great names in the history of Major League Baseball. So keep an eye on Yonder Alonso. He could wind up making an appearance in Colorado this year. Shelby Miller signs with the Milwaukee Brewers. We don't know what that means at all. And an answer to the question posed by Unholy Toledo, who says that he thinks Will Smith is going to be traded. Here's a trade that has been seriously discussed. Okay? Will Smith to go to the Dodgers in exchange for Will Smith. That's right. Will Smith. How about that? Will Smith for the Dodgers catcher, Will Smith. That would be a heck of a trade. I can't. Does anybody recall seeing a player? Now, we know that there was a player in Major League Baseball who was traded for himself. That's right. He was traded. Anybody know who that player was? He was actually traded for himself. This time, Will Smith is going to be traded for Will Smith if this deal happens, and we'll see. But another Will Smith deal has been Will Smith to the St. Louis Cardinals. So for those of you who are relying on, Harry Cheedy, that's right, that's right. Harry Cheedy traded for a player to be named later, and he was the player to be named later, and that actually happened. Anyway, nice going on Oli Toledo. How did I know you would know that? So the Cardinals looking to get some, and so if you're relying on Carlos Martinez, this is a head up for you. The Padres, of course, evaluating Matthew Boyd as a trade acquisition. They could ask for Hunter Renfroe or Franmil Reyes as part of the deal. So that could be pretty interesting for the Tigers and, of course, for the Padres. The Padres also, after Trevor Bauer, I put a poll up on Twitter, and that is very simply, yes or no, will Trevor Bauer be traded by the July trading deadline? Yes or no? What do you think? There's a report that even, certainly if Bauer and Carrasco do come back, which is unlikely, it's a no-brainer he will be traded. But even if they don't and they're in contention, they think as long as they can show their fans that they've improved their team, why not trade them? Okay? Felipe Vasquez, John Morrissey says the Dodgers, two of either Kybert Ruiz, Kevin Lux, Dustin May, or Will Smith. Look, I think the Pirates, they're claiming they're not sure, but if they can get this haul, I think they'll do it. And, yep, that's right. Will Smith for Will Smith. I kind of like that. The Houston Astros at the All-Star break, 2017, they was 60-29. They had a 16-game lead. 2018, they had a 5-game lead at the All-Star break. 2019, this year, they got a 7.5-game lead. And the Astros are the first team since the Atlanta Braves in the 1990s, it was 96 through 99, to have first-place lead of at least 5 games at the break 3 straight years. That's pretty good for the Astros. And Lance Lynn, topping 100 pitches in each of his last 10 starts. Lance Lynn now owns the streak, the longest active streak. I should have made this a trivia question. Who has the longest active streak of throwing 100 pitches? Max Scherzer is the only other pitcher that strung together more than 100-plus pitches per start this season when he did it in 12 consecutive starts back at the end of April to the middle of June. Scherzer and Trevor Bauer are the only pitchers in this whole season with more pitches thrown than Lance Lynn. How about that one? And Lance Lynn has averaged a career high 4.4 walks in 2018, but this year he is issuing a career low, 2 walks per 9 innings, okay? And among pitchers who had at least 100 innings pitched in 2018 and 50 innings in 2019, that is the largest decrease in the rate of walks among any pitcher in Major League Baseball. And also, he started last night's game second in the majors in pitching WAR. Max Scherzer is the only other pitcher. So Lance Lynn having a remarkable season. It was his second game this season with more than 10 strikeouts. And before 2019, this year, he hadn't done that in a game since 2014. Right? Now, here's a trivia question. Let me figure this one out, okay? Lance Lynn is just the second pitcher in Rangers history to finish with 7+ scoreless innings pitched and 10+ strikeouts in a start against the Astros. Who was the only other pitcher to do it was Yu Darvish back in 2013. And of course, the Astros had the fewest strikeouts by all their batters in the majors this season. Okay, 1 less than the Angels. Every other major league team has struck out at least 700 times this year, and the Astros have struck out 624. And then in last night's game, it was the 1346th game of the 2019 season, and just the 104th game where they did not hit a home run in this game between the two teams. And that's a rate of just 7.7% of all games. I figured it out. Last year, 12% of all games had 0 home runs hit. How about that one, right? Every day we hear it about how many home runs are hitting. Garrett Cole, now the strikeouts, 95 strikeouts on four-seamers this year, by far the most in Major League Baseball. Nobody else on their four-seam fastball has even reached 80, but Cole has really distanced himself. Max Scherzer has 79. And Franbar Valdez, first Astro pitcher with a start of at least one innings pitched. And Colin McHugh was the last one. He pitched a third of an inning back in 2016. So there you go. And last night that was a game. Valdez could not complete the first inning. The Astros lose 5-0. He walked the leadoff batter, and it didn't get any better after that. So Lance Lynn, 11 batters in 7 innings. Only George Springer had multiple hits for Houston. And then Alex Bregman had to exit in the third inning. It seems at a ground ball. Sin-Chu Chu hit the ball, took a bad hop, split open Bregman's chin. And if you saw it, it left him a little disoriented, which means he belongs right here in the chat room, right? Miles Straw replaced Bregman at shortstop. So unbelievable, okay? So Lance Lynn, are you kidding? Steady behind I'm telling you. Lance Lynn owns a 2.65 ERA across his last 12 starts. Okay, very solid season. He's in his first year of a 3-year, $30 million deal. Now, if you know, since you've been listening to this podcast, the Cincinnati Reds have been my team to bet on. I told you to do it. I can't say that I did it, but I told you to do it. And I would still, good morning to everybody in the chat room. A big turnout this morning. Thank you, everybody, so very much. We'll get to you in just a second. But here's something that Cincinnati Reds are 4.5 games back in the division. And back in May at DraftKings Sportsbook at the Resorts Hotel in Atlantic City, an unidentified bettor put $14,000, it wasn't me, $14,000 on the Reds at 33-1 to win the division, and $6,000 on the Reds. Are you listening, J.R. Matz? It wasn't you, was it? And $6,000 on them to win the National League pennant at 80-1. Now, J.R. Matz, please pay attention. You should have done it. I would have gone halves with you so we can kick ourselves in the sweet petunia where the cashews and the sun-ripened raisins grow. Here's the thing. If Cincinnati wins the division, the bettor will win $462,000. If it wins the National League Championship Series, he'll grab an additional $480,000. That's wow. You know what? So this is a baseball season where, because I did not make this bet, I don't really know who I'm rooting for to win, but I do know who I'm rooting for not to win. And that's the Reds. And they started the season 1-8, and they haven't even been at 500 yet, okay? They went into the All-Star break, I think it was 41-46. They had a 2-game sweep at home by the Cleveland Indians. So, look, Chicago leads Milwaukee by a half game, St. Louis 2 games back, the Pirates 2.5 games, and then the Reds 4.5. So it ain't going to be easy. Not going to be, and Cincinnati, look, they went into the break on a sour note. Cleveland beat them 11-1. It was their most lopsided defeat of the year. So, look, last year they were 13.5 games out and finished 28.5 games behind. So, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens, but I know one thing. I have a big rooting interest in a team that I loved, but I didn't bet, and this is why betting will drive you crazy. Whether you bet or you don't, okay? Good morning to everybody in the chat room. Nice to see. Arnie is here. Beach Bum, the Great Beer Man, the Cam, the Cha-Cha, the Amazins, DK Lush, Danny DeVacabizzle, Easy Kill, Jay Gibbs. Jeremy is here. Jeremy Gibbs, Jimmy Ross, J.R. Matz, who may be the mystery bettor from Cincinnati. Leonard Donaldson, Mal Pal, Michael Etch in your kitchen table, the wonderfully lovely and talented Mitch Harston, who I love to death. Tito Luna is here. Good morning, Tino, NYC, 2RVA. Patrick, my friend, is here. The Great Short Porch has made it back. Thank you for coming back. That guy, real double A, Honolulu Toledo Zelmo. So it's been great. Now, Gabe Kapler said that Jake Arrieta's bone spur has really affected the way he throws his curveball. And here's some information. His first 11 starts, he's thrown the breaking ball about 27% of the time, and the opponents